Welcome to the all-new That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. New episodes again each weekday morning at 9 a.m. on thatbusinessnetwork.com, and then made available as a podcast up on iTunes and a video cast on YouTube. You can also find the videos on iTunes as a video cast. It's not a well-known fact, but you can have videos on iTunes as well. So That Business Show 2.0 available as both audio and video on iTunes. Today, we're going to be talking about another form of a show, a Twitter chat. So this is going to be a new thing for me. I've never talked with anybody who does a Twitter chat. So we got Nali Kunta with us today on the phone line. She is an entrepreneur and owner of Connect House, and you can learn more throughout the discussion at wetalkbiz.com. So Nali, welcome to the program today.
Hi, Jamie. Hi.
So,
thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome. So a Twitter chat, tell us about what a Twitter chat is, because I'm used to podcasts and television shows, but you run a program that is a Twitter chat. Tell us about what this is.
Okay, so a Twitter chat is basically what it is, a Twitter chat. So what we do on a Twitter chat, you start an account, a normal Twitter account, and you decide on your own whether you want to, what conversations you want to drive on your account. You have a hashtag for that conversation. If, for instance, you want to talk about traveling, you can say hashtag travel, travel USA, where you will be basically steering conversations around traveling. For me, I decided to start a Twitter chat about entrepreneurship. So I decided, you know what, the hashtag and how people will follow this chat is the hashtag will be hashtag We Talk Biz, because we're talking business on the chat. And what you basically do is you assign a day and a time for that conversation to happen. So that's basically what a Twitter chat is.
Okay, so you then you're assigning a hashtag to each individual conversation, and so if you follow that hashtag, then that's how you follow the show. Am I following that correctly?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, and so how then, if I go to hashtag We Talk Biz, do you then just have the is it like a Twitter live, like a Facebook live? Do you have individual segments that are on the Twitter chat? How does it actually play back to the audience?
Okay, so this is what happens on my Twitter chat, on our Twitter chat. Every Tuesday from 8 p.m. Central African Time to 9 p.m., we start a conversation around any business topic. So everyone is welcome on the chat. But for us to know that you're on the chat, we have to track you down with our hashtag, which is hashtag We Talk Biz. So that is how we reach out to the community, and that is how the community, the Twitter community, of course, reaches out to us and saying we are part of this conversation. So this conversation is open to everyone and anyone who has basically the knowledge or who wants to find out about that certain topic.
That's interesting. So there's no actual video. I'm not watching or listening to a podcast interview like we're doing today. This is just a Twitter feed. People use the hashtag, in your situation, We Talk Biz, and then you follow the messages along the Twitter feed. Is that correct?
Yes, there is no video. But as I was saying, it is on a particular Twitter account. So when you go, for instance, to our Twitter account, you will see each and every conversation, because we are the person with people who are driving the conversation. So every question, every answer to the question, every retweet, every comment, you will find on that particular account. For instance, our account, if you go on our account now, you can find a conversation from our Twitter chat this past Tuesday with the hashtag We Talk Biz.
And your Twitter account, so people can also follow you. What's your Twitter handle?
It's @_We Talk. @_We Talk.
@_We Talk. We'll also be sure to tag that in follow-ups to the program as well. And so this is something new to me. I don't hear, I mean, podcasting and talking with people, on audio or video is a growing medium. But a Twitter chat, that's something that I was not familiar with. Is this something that is fairly prevalent? Is this something that is just a unknown medium of communication? Talk to me about the popularity and the usefulness of this.
Oh, in my country, South Africa, Twitter chats are not something new. In fact, we have a couple of Twitter chats. Which steer up different conversations. We have travel chats. People who steer conversations around traveling. People who steer around conversations around creatives. We talk business chats. Which other women entrepreneurship chats. So Twitter chats are not something new. And also, we've had Madeline Skeller, who is one of the biggest in I think US, who has her own Twitter chat, and it's one of the best Twitter chats that are on Twitter.
Which one was that again? I didn't catch that one.
No, the person who owns the chat is Madeline.
Okay.
We had her on our one of our Twitter chats. She was a guest. We hosted her as a guest on our Twitter chats. So Twitter chats are not anything new in my region, but definitely podcasts. Podcasts is something that we are now venturing into, and when I say we, I mean in South Africa. It's not something that we are familiar to, but it's something we are tapping into, which is Twitter podcasts and everything else. But Twitter chats is not anything new at all.
So this is interesting to me. I'm definitely going to follow the hashtag here, and I'll chime in from time to time. So this is every Tuesday that you do these. And again, if you go to wetalkbiz.com, up in the upper right-hand side of the page, you can see a tab that says guests, and you can see the different Twitter chats that they've had available. What time of course it's going to be on your time locally, what time do you start your Twitter chats in South Africa?
In South Africa, we're starting the chats at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. and you're 6 hours ahead of us, right? I think, yeah, because we're 10 now. So, all right, so you're 8 p.m. there, so then that would be at 2 o'clock our time then. And so then anybody can engage though, right?
Yes, anyone and everyone. We actually have on our stats. So what we do is every month we check our statistics on who exactly have engaged, who our audience is, and we've had like a couple and an impressive reach from the USA. So we appreciate that. So yeah, we're crossing borders. It's not only like a South African thing; it's an African thing. It's a global thing. And if you look at our guests, we've had a couple of guests from the US as well.
Well, so I like the different forms of communication, and I'm a big Twitter person. I do a lot of tweeting. I put out a lot of past shows and market upcoming shows and different things. So I'm a big fan of Twitter, and I talk about this on the program that if you're going to try to build up a community around any of these social networks, Twitter is probably the one that you're going to have the most success in quickly building an audience. If you understand how to use the hashtags, how to tag people, you can really begin to build engagement quickly. Talk to us about your experience using Twitter and how it's helped you grow an audience.
Twitter, like you were saying, I feel is the perfect social media platform to use if you want to know stuff, if you want to engage in certain conversations. For me, the reason why me and my business partner decided to start this Twitter chat is because we had seen how much of an impact Twitter has on people. We like to say here in South Africa that people get fired on Twitter, people are employed on Twitter. So Twitter on its own is a very, very powerful platform. And for me, it has helped me find like-minded people in terms of business, in terms of my hobby interests. So I think it's sort of like has made me find a family, per se, if I may put it like that. So Twitter is a very, very powerful platform in terms of if you want to find or if you want to engage in certain conversations.
Yeah, and I think people sometimes are scared of Twitter because you got to learn the language of Twitter, as people will say, and older generations don't understand hashtags and handles like the younger generations do. But I talk about this on the program that I get the best engagement from the different social media networks, other than my own personal Facebook page, which are personal relationships. But I get a great amount of engagement from Twitter, and so I invest a lot of time and a lot of effort into Twitter. One thing I like about Twitter too is it's one of those social networks that doesn't punish you for posting too much, and so you get better engagement that way. That's one thing I like about Twitter. Tell us a little bit more about why you like Twitter.
The reason I like Twitter is because it's a comfortable space to be in, but at the same time you have to watch what you say. Well, in every social media platform, you have to watch what you say if you are a brand and if you own a brand. So I think I like Twitter the most because it's a very comfortable space. And like I say, that's where I go for information. That's where I go to find certain people. Facebook for me is like, yeah. But Twitter is like my information. It's like Google for me.
Right. We're currently talking to Nali Kunta. She is an entrepreneur and also the host of We Talk Biz. This is a Twitter chat, so follow the hashtag We Talk Biz. They do a new show each Tuesday at 8 p.m. their time, which would be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the East Coast of the United States. You just follow that hashtag We Talk Biz. So it's a different form of communication, and she's based over in South Africa, and they're just now, she said, starting to adopt the medium of podcasting, and she reached out to me to do a podcast here, and I'm learning about Twitter chats, and so a very informative conversation for myself. When we come back from the break, I want to talk to her how entrepreneurship is in South Africa and what's going on in that community, and also a little bit more about their show. Again, We Talk Biz. Learn more at wetalkbiz.com, and be sure to follow that hashtag. You're listening to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Welcome back to That Business Show 2.0, where business becomes show business. New episodes again weekday mornings, 9 a.m. on thatbusinessnetwork.com, and please connect with us all across social media. Talking today specifically about Twitter and the Twitter chat that our guest Nali Kunta has founded and runs each and every Tuesday based in South Africa. Be sure to follow the hashtag WeTalkBiz. Some of our hashtags that we use on the program, hashtag That Business Show. If you follow that hashtag, you'll keep up to date with a lot of the program. And our Twitter handle at That Biz Show. A lot of tweets going out each and every day, and an excellent community to grow your fan base and your influence. So be sure that you're using Twitter for your business or your whatever it is that you're doing that you have passion around. So Nali, you're in South Africa. Again, I'll admit that I'm not a world traveler. I have lived the majority of all my life on the East Coast of the United States. Tell me a little bit about entrepreneurship as it exists in South Africa. What's going on in your community?
Entrepreneurship in South Africa is I don't want to say it's great, but I don't want to say it is not great. It is just on average. We are basically surrounded by entrepreneurs, by successful entrepreneurs who shy out from telling the true stories about entrepreneurship. So it's like you have to test on your own how entrepreneurship is. You have to literally, you are just blindfolded. You're just finding your own path. But in terms, it's a entrepreneurs here at the site have done a great deal in our community and have done a great job in terms of our economy. We have jobs because of them. But at the same time, like I was saying to you, that there's certain information that they shy out from giving us as young entrepreneurs. But it's a great space to be in. Being an entrepreneur in South Africa is, in this time, well, today, in this age, 2017, is a bit rough because of our status as the economy of South Africa, where we are now degrading. We're going down But everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Entrepreneurship in South Africa is interesting. It's a journey. It's worth getting into.
I've heard many times that South Africa is very similar to the economy in the United States. Can you elaborate on that? Is that a true statement? How would you advise?
Well, I won't lie and try and be all smart about it. I don't know what the state of the USA, the economy, that side is. But here I will say that things are a bit rough right now. 2017, things turned around.
But you have a free market society, and people trade and interact, and they're free to go about their business as they choose. It's not government directed, is what I'm getting at. Is that a true statement?
Yes, that's a true statement.
Okay, and go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I'm saying it's a free platform. You can do whatever you want to do, as long as sometimes you have to abide by what the government has to say.
Now, what has driven South African industry? I think mining is a business in that area, but fill me in. What drives the South African economy?
Sorry, please repeat that for me.
What drives the South African economy? What industries outside of entrepreneurship are popular or well known in South Africa?
You mentioned mining. Although mining is I won't say it's popular. It's not popular, but it is making money. It is doing a great job in the economy. Agriculture as well.
In our country, we're seeing entrepreneurship move to the forefront of our economic system, and it's being driven by our younger generation, which we call the millennials, and they're much more, they're much more drawn to the experience of life versus, going into a career and working 40 years, which was kind of the cultural norm in America for the older generations. They went to school and they got a job and they stayed there 30 or 40 years. Millennials don't have that mindset. They're much more driven to the experience of being independent. How would you say your culture is in terms of how they think and how they view business? Do you have the mindset that people work one job their entire career? Do they have the mindset that they'd like to go to multiple careers?
Okay, so on that, to be honest with you, we in most of the entrepreneurs in South Africa are trying to shape a certain community. They're trying to shape the minds of the young people in a certain way. I personally refuse, and I do not want anyone who is studying or anyone who is younger than me to think that entrepreneurship is the route to go. If you were born to be an entrepreneur, be that. If you were born, if you want to work under a certain company, do that. Because there's this mentality that working under when you are working under a certain company, you're a slave. So we should all be owning our own businesses. And my thought to that is, if we all own our own businesses, who is going to work for us? At the end of the day, we should have someone at the reception. We should have someone who's doing the garden. We should have someone who is our electric person. We should have someone who's at the computers. So if we all want to own our businesses, we should stop this mindset of thinking that people who work for people are slaves, and that people who work for other people are not pursuing their own dreams. Some people truly just want to work for certain companies. They want to work for Samsung, to be specific. They want to do. They want to be on the technology side of things, and they have to work under certain companies. So in South Africa, we are at a stage or at a time now. People are trying to enforce this entrepreneurship thing, this start your own business, this be your own person, and we are shying and we are trying to pull down this thing of people working for us. And the truth of the matter is, we need people who are going to work for us. So it's for me personally, the conversation of starting your own business has been engraved in me since high school, since primary, in a school that I went to, which is Umtata Christian School. So it's nothing new here where conversation is steered that way. But these days, it's like really, really just enforced. Be your own boss. Do this. Start your own business. So that's our mentality.
And you found entrepreneurship in high school. You said that sounds like it's innate in your mindset. Then, correct?
Yes.
And today you run a show called We Talk Biz. It's a Twitter chat. We're talking about that in the first segment, airing every Tuesday at 8 p.m. That's on South African time. That translates into 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the East Coast of the United States. Simply follow the hashtag We Talk Biz to follow that Twitter chat. Now, you mentioned that podcasting is starting to grow in South Africa. Is this a way that you're helping to grow your own personal brand? I know you reached out to me to come onto the podcast and talk about your Twitter chat. Is this a medium that you're finding to help grow your own brand?
Twitter podcast. I was talking to a man called Mashadu who's only just venturing into podcasts just now, and he was basically just telling me how we in South Africa have not really gotten used to this whole thing of podcasts. And he mentioned that one of the reasons why is because the material or the equipment that we use for podcasting is quite expensive for quality podcasts. So for me, podcast is something that I've always thought about, but it's a matter of I said this to him. I said, for me, every step I take in terms of the talk business, it's strategic. So I need to know how exactly podcasts will fit into the We Talk Biz community and network, and how exactly our audience on the other side of the world will receive it. And it's not, for me, it's not a matter of trends. It's yes, I see that we are slowly but surely getting into podcasts here in South Africa, but it's what will the podcast do for We Talk Biz specifically. So yeah.
What has your show or your Twitter chat done for you personally? Because we talk a lot about just building community, and that's exactly what you are doing with your Twitter chat. But what has it done for you personally and you as a business?
It has done a lot for me. I am today in one of the biggest offices in the country, sitting in a boardroom, talking to you because I was recognized through a Twitter chat, because I was recognized as one of the people who have started one of the most memorable Twitter chats, one of the most remarkable Twitter chats. So it has opened doors for me. I won't even lie on with that piece. It has opened measurable doors for me. I am now in one of the greatest positions that a young entrepreneur can ever be exposed to. So it's done a great deal for me.
Well, we'll help you promote it here on the podcast here, the Twitter chat, We Talk Biz. Be sure to follow that on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. South African time, translates again to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow the hashtag We Talk Biz. And then you can also follow them on Twitter @_We Talk. And then also Nolly is at NollyQ_. So take advantage of Twitter. It's an excellent way to grow your brand and your identity and find people from across the globe. So Nolly, great discussion today. I greatly appreciate you taking some time out of your day to fill us in on your Twitter chat, and I'm sure you've got some new followers here as a matter of appearing on the program. So Nolly, thank you so much for being on the program with me today.
Thank you for having me, Jamie.
You're quite welcome. And again, wetalkbiz.com for more information. New episodes of our program air each weekday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on thatbusinessnetwork.com. You can also find the show available on iTunes as a podcast, and you can follow us on our YouTube channel where all of the episodes are produced in video as well. Go to thatyoutubechannel.com for more information. If you'd like to come onto the program, visit tbsinterview.com for more information. And you've been listening again to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.